So I will do my best to stay on task and not go on a million tangents, but I can't make any promises. I get really excited when talking about database. Oops. We need to share screen. And we need to take off the video and do slideshow. Okay. All right. We are at Grow Your Database. This is my favorite section. And all right, let's get started. Okay, just real quick, a telemarketing warning, TCPA compliant, just making sure that you are running your phone numbers before you're calling them through the do not call list. So this is a disclaimer that you will see before every single class. And also it goes through talking about commissions. Commissions are not set by law or practice and are fully negotiable. Just a few little disclaimers for you.
I think Gary's had to pay for
fair housing, huh?
Things Gary has had to pay for. So.
Yes, basically. Yes, these are all disclaimers because Gary has had to shell out X amount of millions of dollars in that settlement. AI disclaimer, just making sure that all of your AI is reviewed and you cannot assume that it is abiding by fair housing laws, which it's not. There's a lot of puffery that comes out with AI, so just be careful. And all these materials are copyright of Keller Williams International. And yeah, cool. So that was cool. That's new, all those disclaimers. Okay, so this is Ignite number 6, Grow Your Database. So today's agenda. All right, we are going to start talking about a smart data bank. Then we're going to talk about building your database. We're going to feed your database, communicate with your database, service your database, and then we're going to go over ahas. Your database is your business. Building up the number of names in it and a relationship with those names is really at the very core of what building a real estate business is all about. Smart data bank, your database. All right. Database defined. So the container, your database, is the container that holds the contact information for all your leads and all your contacts. So your database in command is your database, your contacts. Okay. A lead is someone who has shown interest in the services you offer and whom you can contact. You have the right to have a one-way conversation. So that's a lead. Is somebody that you can just call. This is one-way conversation. It's not reciprocal, just one way. And then a contact is someone that you've held a two-way conversation with and whom you have established a value-based relationship with, your sphere of influence. So when you first onboarded, we talked about this, is that when you have your phone, all your contacts are in your phone. These are people that you have permission to have a two-way conversation with, correct? Yeah. So those people in your phone would be considered your contacts. These are people that are actual people you have a permission to have a two-way conversation with. A lead is a phone number that you could get from a Facebook ad, from a referral. It's just somebody that you can have a one-way conversation with. But what we want as we talk, it's how we get them from a lead into a contact. All right. So this is the asking question, which part of the lead generation database model represents your database? And we're going to say it's everything. Right? Oops. I don't want to do that. It's like the little pencil mark is right. Anyways, okay. All right, 4 laws of database. So we're going to build the database. We're going to feed it every day, and we're going to communicate systematically, and we're going to service all the leads. Okay. This always gets started kind of slow. All right, build your database. Okay, so when we build our database, each contact in your database should include name, contact information, past business record. Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. When we're talking about contact information, what is that? What is the contact information?
Phone number, email.
What was it?
Social media.
Social media handle, home address. What else? Birthday, home anniversary. So if they own their home anniversary. Why is that important? Why knowing their home anniversary? Why is that important?
So that you can send some type of anniversary, happy anniversary. Reminder that sometimes, and I've learned this in one of the classes, sometimes the buyers, they forget, like they send that reminder.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh, okay.
going by averages, it's changing, but the average person lives in a home for 7 to 10 years. So you can kind of know by average of when they might be looking to move again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and your conversation with someone in your contacts or lead, if you know how long they've lived in their home, that conversation looks a little bit different for someone who's been in their home for a year versus someone who's been in their home for 10 years. So understanding how long they've lived in their home is huge in what value you're going to send to them. Okay. Birthdays are great because everyone loves a birthday call or birthday text, or you can set them up on a smart plan where you can send them a birthday card. What else? What else can you add in that additional contact information? Where they work, right? Huh? Yep, exactly. Knowing a contact if they have a spouse is important because you need to know who all would be potentially involved in the transaction. Knowing their relationships as well. So knowing, all right, so Mr. or Mrs. Seller, your son just went off to college. Maybe that person is looking to downsize. Maybe they have a baby on their way. I mean, life influences buying and selling. So really understanding those family dynamics and relationships is important. Okay. All right. So in command, you can enter in all this information. And the goal up here, this contact health score, you want at minimum at 88%. If it's at 88%, that means that you have phone number, email address, home address, birthday, and I believe home anniversary at minimum. Okay. You're gonna have, I'm sorry.
Neighborhood is good.
Yep.
Like where they live now.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's a good point because when you put in their home address, it automatically gives them a neighborhood. But understanding if they're a renter versus a homeowner is also very important because if they're a renter, that home address might not be good because they may not, if they're looking to buy, they may not want to buy in the same neighborhood that they're currently renting in. So you can manually add in neighborhoods. So if you're talking with someone that's a renter, what are their long-term plans of real estate? If they want to buy, what are those neighborhoods that they might be interested in? And then you can add those neighborhoods, and it's not necessarily tied to where they currently live. So it's a good point. Why it's important to have the home address in there for a seller is they want to look at their return on investment. So we do a really easy smart plan. It's called a neighborhood nurture. So if you sell someone a home and they move in, it's important to have them on that neighborhood nurture, because then they can get emails on their investment. They can look at their ROI immediately. If it's somebody that's lived in their home for a long period of time, it's good. They're going to start getting the bug on what their current equity is. And those neighborhood nurtures are good to help them show what their potential equity could be. And it's a system that you just set it and forget it. So that's a good point, Mary. Oops, I'm bleeding on my hand. All right. Okay. Just so you know, in Command, there's in KW Connect, there's a lot of videos and trainings for Command Your Database. So if you're in Command and you hit the Connect button and you just drop in there Command Your Database, it's going to give you some ideas of some trainings and stuff like that that you can watch on your own. All right. So now we're going to talk about feeding your database. This is not the instructor manual. Okay, so the second law is feed your database. What are the two pathways for feeding lead contacts into your database? What are two pathways for feeding your database? How do you feed your database? What activities?
Like smart plans,
Huh?
like smart plans.
Well, that is the like a method, but what we're talking about is excuse me. Prospecting and marketing is what's going to feed your database, right? So smart plan would be a type of marketing, right? And you could also utilize it for prospecting. All right, so prospecting and marketing is how you feed your database. Okay. So what does feed your database mean? This law about adding people to your database, just as we discussed yesterday or Friday. First, you add all the people you know, your sphere of influence. So we're starting our database. We're going to import all of our contacts out of our phone and put them into Command. These are people, your sphere of influence. These are people that you know and the people that you encounter regularly. You add your dentist, your children's teachers, your coworkers, and people that you know from the neighborhood. The rest of your feed comes from what? Yes, lead generating. In the previous session, you learned the difference between prospecting and marketing. You also explored different ways to prospect in your everyday life and through your sphere. So prospecting is actively seeking leads and building relationships through conversations. Prospecting is cost effective, and you're able to directly hear if and when the person is able, ready, and willing to do business. I'm sorry, this is my kid's school. I'm gonna forget. Okay, yes, I have a 12-pack of beer at my house that I'll send you to the store. All right, thanks. All right, sorry about that. they have to call every time they give my son medicine. Yeah, he gets migraines, so he has the nurse has his naproxen and then Gatorade. So they have to call every time because he can't take it 2 days in a row. So if
I
they
guess
don't,
there's a comfort to that.
huh?
I guess there's a comfort to that.
Oh, yeah, but they had to tell me so that if he gets a migraine at home, I can't give him that medicine until
Okay.
Wednesday. So yeah, so it's about twice a week, huh?
I forgot I had a meeting.
Oh, no, you're fine. You don't want to hang out with me. I get it.
Whatever.
It's all right, Travis. You know where to find me. Okay, sorry about the interruption. All right, so we talked. So prospecting is actively seeking leads and building relationships through your conversations. Prospecting is cost effective and you're able to directly hear if and when a person is able, ready, and willing to do business. That's one side. Marketing is a passive pathway for feeding your database. You're putting information out in print, social media, and waiting for leads to seek you out. Okay. So that's the difference between prospecting and marketing. Questions on that?
One, the first prospecting is when you actually talk to somebody, gauge where they are.
Yeah.
Like, I know. I just thought about the house today. It's funny you should call. And marketing is not actually physically talking to them, but still getting information out through Facebook, Instagram, social media.
Yeah. It's kind of like, so prospecting, you're going to the source, like you're going to the person calling and talking and having that engagement. You're understanding exactly where they're at that time. Marketing is you're pushing materials out via either social media, print advertising, and you're waiting for them to initiate that conversation because they will either in a Facebook marketing click, I want more information now. So they're initiating that connection to you by engaging in your marketing. Whereas prospecting, you are getting a phone number and you are calling them directly. So prospecting, you're initiating it. Marketing, they're initiating it.
That's it.
Say it again.
That's it.
Well, yeah, I mean, your marketing is through your smart plans, your emails that go out, or print marketing, or say you do. I mean, it doesn't all have to be tied directly to Command. Command is a tool that you can utilize, but this is more the concept of it. So your marketing, sending out flyers, sending out, maybe you host an event and people come to that event. That's marketing because they're coming to you. So that's just kind of the difference between prospecting and marketing. All right. So the value of your sphere. Your sphere will generate new, repeat, and referral business. Building your database can be accomplished economically by asking everyone you know who they know and who might benefit from your services or may have an immediate real estate need. You learned earlier that many top agents run highly productive businesses based solely on their sphere. You see, your sphere is your source for new, repeat, and referral business. Remember, this was the client and referral loop of the database model, right? So we've got our database, we're turning it, we're talking to people, right? Just think of it, the cylinder here. Imagine it spinning, you're talking to, communicating, and it's going to spit out leads for you. New business comes when someone in your sphere begins thinking about buying or selling and they think of you. Repeat business comes from clients you've helped in the past who were so pleased with the service and experience you provided that they asked for you again. Referral business comes from clients who have used you before or know of your stellar service and recommend you to people in their sphere. So this is all potential business derived from your sphere of influence, okay? Oops. Go back. Okay. So who might your sphere refer you to? Yeah. So you're having a conversation with someone in your database and you ask them who they may know that might be interested in buying or selling. Who are the people that they're going to send to you?
Children.
Children?
Children.
Adult, yeah. Children's friends, adult children's friends, neighbors, coworkers. How do you ensure that your sphere will refer you? Keep in contact.
Because people forget.
You what?
People forget.
Mm-hmm. People forget that you're in real estate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody's asking.
Yeah. So how do you change that? How do you change that perception of them forgetting you're in real estate?
I want to say offer like incentive. Or,
You gotta be careful with that.
okay, yeah.
So anytime you incentivize people to give you referrals, it has to be an opportunity for everyone. It can't just be like, you have to be careful. People,
Give $100 for every piece of business you say.
you can't pay people for business, right? So like, well, what you could do is, if you fill out this like form, then you can get entered into a drawing for like a $25 gift card. So it has to be like equal opportunity for everyone to win. If you say for everyone who gives me a referral, I'm going to give you $1,000, you will be in real estate jail. Like you cannot pay people for leads. But what you can do is you can do like giveaways and stuff like that. So what we do not quarterly, like twice a year, is we do what's called a reverse polled 100, where we as a market center will create a gift, or it could be a cash giveaway or something. And everyone who wants to participate in that day will, agent wise, will pay $50 to participate. So sometimes we've done like $1,000 giveaway and everyone pays $50 to be able to give away $1,000. And then each of the agents will promote this event that they're giving away $1,000. And all you have to do is call between 3 and 6 to get entered into a drawing. So the strategy is that you promote this on, March 10th from 3 to 5 o'clock. I'm giving away $1,000. You have to call me. So it's reverse prospecting. So basically, people will call you instead of you calling your database. And then we have like a Google form that you fill out. As you ask, it helps you build your database and get that contact information. So oh, perfect, you're going to enter in the giveaway. I just want to make sure, what's your phone number again? Obviously, I've got your phone number here. Is it your preferred phone number? What's your preferred email address? What's your home address? What's your birthday? And then that way you can take that information, you can update your database. And then we enter in everyone who signs up and we do a spinner. And then whoever's picked, it may not be your client, but you can still say, oh, look, Susie Ann won $1,000. Congratulations to Susie Ann for winning $1,000. Your clients don't realize that that's probably not your client that called any of your clients. It could be another agent's client, but you're still giving away $1,000 and people call in. And the thing is at the very end of that Google form, we ask the question, who do you know that might be interested in buying or selling? Or are you interested in buying or selling? Or what are your real estate plans for 2025? So agents generate leads through this. They're able to clean up their database, or they're feeding their database through that activity. And it's a good event. Actually, we'll probably need to start thinking about when we're going to do that giveaway. So how do you ensure that your sphere will refer you? One, by asking for a referral. When you ask your database for a referral, when you're having conversations with them and you train them, like they know, all right, I'm talking to Mary. Mary's going to ask me for a referral, and you ask that question. They may not have a referral at that time. That's okay. But the next time you talk to them, they may. Or it's in their head. So when they're at work and they know that whoever's cubicle is next to them is talking about, oh, wait, I got a great realtor, Mary. She's constantly asking me for referrals. You educate your sphere of influence. The sphere of influence is your most important piece of your database. You educate them in understanding what it means to you to help build your business, because you two are entrepreneurs. You are entrepreneurs. This is your real estate business. This is your livelihood. You have to train everyone in your database to understand that. Just the same way that if you have a friend of yours that owns a restaurant, they're obviously going to want you to send business. They're going to want you to go to their restaurant and spend money because you're supporting them in their business. The same way that if your friend owns a restaurant that you support them, they need to turn around and support you in your real estate business, because this is your business. You are a small business owner. Okay.
So I was thinking, like, when you have a buyer that you just recently, and like you do like check-ins, like 30 days, 6 months check. But what I was thinking is, like, how do you keep yourself fresh on their mind so that they think of you as a, like, if you're sitting there, like, how they have I don't know, there may be new products that come out for send them, links and stuff like that throughout the time frame, just so they, stuff that they may not be aware of. Like, oh, I didn't know that this credit was out there. But
Oh yeah. I mean, here the reality is the people who, and this is where agents screw up all the time, is they do not stay in contact with someone that they have done a transaction with. That is the most important person in your entire database that you need to be in contact with, because they're the ones who can advocate for you. They have experienced your professionalism. So, after you sell someone a home, get a Google review for your business page. Okay. Stay in contact. Know when their home anniversary is. You better be calling them on the day that they moved into their house. Happy anniversary. Drop off a gift. Okay. They're the ones that you want to check in with. Did you remember to renew your home warranty? All right. Maybe the rates change. Are you interested in doing a refinance? Okay. What's going on in their neighborhood? There are strategies in Command that you can set up touch plans for past clients, and that you can communicate with them systematically. But you're right. Those are the most important people in your database, because they're the ones that are going to refer you to your friends and family because you sold them a house successfully. Yes. Okay. Sharing how important this is to you. It is okay to share with your database, people in your database, in your conversations, what your goals are. Okay. All right, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, seller, I just want to let you know that my goal this year is I want to sell 12. I want to put 12 families into a new home in 2025. Can you help me with my goal? Share your goals. Post them on social media. There's nothing wrong with that. My goal this year is to help 34 families achieve their real estate dreams. What are you doing this year to help me with that? Okay. And then you thank them. You thank your clients, you thank the people in your database, especially if they send you a referral. Thank you. They have to understand how much impact this has on your business and that they are a part of your business and helping you build it. Give them a gift. Your sphere generally wants to help you, and you can easily feed your database with referrals from them. Okay. Testimonials and reviews. If you do not have a business page set up through through Google, do that. If you need help with it, Peyton can help. Okay. Yeah, you should have a Google business page. You both have your own website. On your website, people can send you reviews there. If you get Google reviews, you can actually copy the Google review and enter it into your website's review.
Now, the website is only accessible through you can't get on it through your phone.
Yeah, you can.
So access to my website.
Okay. Let's after this class, I have back-to-back appointments, but I should be able to, we should be able to end a couple minutes before 11, and I can look at that. I'll probably have to connect you with Peyton more on the command side. But so the thing is you can access your website on your phone, but what you should really be doing is sending your app link to your clients, and they should be looking at properties through the KW app and not if they're on their phone. You can manage your website through command. You can add testimonials, but you should definitely start with Facebook. It doesn't matter if you have never sold a home. You can still have people, friends, family give reviews because they can attest to your professionalism. They can attest to your timeliness. They can, there's keywords that consumers want to see in a real estate agent. Okay. So there are other ways you can feed your database. Encourage the people you know to write a testimonial about you or a review of your service, of the service you've provided them in the past. When you post these on social media, through your agent site, or in any form of marketing, you can attract leads. Offer an item of value related to real estate on social media, and people opt in to receive it from you. This could be a real estate update on the market in the area, which conveniently is already created for you in command. So there's you can do things in command and do quick social media posts with market updates for a specific neighborhood. They actually can generate fun little videos about specific neighborhoods. So if you're in command, excuse me. So I am not a licensed real estate agent, so I don't have all of the functionality here. But if you're here in the megaphone, which is campaigns, you can do these quick posts right here, and you can create a neighborhood video. So if I click on park, park, Ohio. Hit next. And what it's bringing up is the stats right here. So like the average home price is 286. Average home price in the area apparently is on the decline. Square footage, average days on market. What it's doing is it's giving tags. It automatically put these tags in here. You can change these. This is saying healthy foods, humanitarian focused, into gardening. Again, you can change all of these. This isn't really true to this area. Branding information, it's going to have my information, brokerage information. So when I hit next, it's going to create this quick little video again. So you can do any neighborhood on this. Huh? It's in campaigns and on the front page, and it's just like a quick, so then it's going to show the video. So it says the average sales price, square footage. I mean, you can customize this. Right now it's saying there's 9 active listings, not pending. Huh? So I just went to the megaphone here, campaigns, and it's right here under the quick posts. Yep. There's also you can shuffle these. They're just information that you can pull and directly post in social media. Just so you know, back to the website, when you come down here, this bottom link is your website. I don't, this is how you, so I don't have a website. I can't show this, but basically you go in and you can edit your agent site here. Huh? Yeah, it should be, well, you have your laptop with you? Okay. You should be able to, on an, even on an iPad or laptop, manage your website, and through the website, you can do the testimonials, you can customize the widgets, everything. Mary, what's your website? Or I'm Erica, what's your website? Do you know the name of it? It might be in that email from Peyton. Your website is the Erica Brown. So the ericabrown.kw.com. So yeah, so this is your website. Not sure why. So so this is the ericabrown.kw.com. So this is your consumer website that clients can look at. I don't know if you're able, if being on command through your phone. That bottom icon in here. That's not hyperlinking you to your website. That's hyperlinking you to in command this icon on the bottom. This consumer app. This is how you manage the website. Your actual website itself is this, the ericabrown.kw.com. But what it's taking you to is taking you to the consumer app. I'm sorry, to the website where you can edit the widgets and everything. You're not going to be able to do that on your phone. All right. Okay, back to this. So testimonials, super important. All right. Why does it keep doing that? All right, we're gonna keep going. Here's some areas, you know, that your clients can attest to: your responsiveness, your attention to detail, professionalism, empathy, clear communication. These are all attributes that that consumers want to see in their real estate agent. All right. So again, even if you haven't sold a piece of property, you can still have people in your sphere that can send or give you business or customer reviews. All right. Communicating with our database. The third law is to communicate with your database. In the previous session, you learned about the importance of relationships in real estate, along with the different ways you can communicate with your database, called touches. Communicating with your database will be accomplished through those touches, and you will pair those with meaningful, relevant, and timely information. To succeed at a high level in real estate sales, you must commit to frequent contact with a database with the intent of building a close relationships. You must commit to frequent contact. How long must you commit to building relationships? How long? Forever? Forever and ever and ever. As long as you want a real estate business, you have to systematically communicate to your database consistently forever. All right. Communicate systematically. The way you communicate with your database will depend on whether it's with leads or contacts. And remember that in Ignite, we are focusing our attention on relationship building and strengthening our contacts, our sphere, those who we have permission to have a two-way conversation with. As you establish and build relationships and learn more about a person's motivations, dreams, interests, and goals, you will categorize or segment people into common interests so that everyone is receiving communication that matters to them. Information that is meaningful and feels personal is information that they'll most likely respond to. So what are some segments, categories that you might already naturally have in your database? Mhm. So we talked a lot, like when we create our database is tagging people, right? Creating tags in order to segment your database. So what's an easy one that we can think of? Renters versus homeowners, right? Yep. So that's the easiest example, right? So so you've got homeowners versus renters. So an example that I give is if you have everyone in your database that's tagged versus homeowners and renters, you could filter your database based on your renters and invite them all to a first-time homebuyer seminar. That's delivering value that's timely to them, right? What if you just blanket emailed your entire database and invited them all to a homebuyer seminar? Well, as a homeowner, if I received that email, I would delete it. And more than likely, the next time I would get that email, knowing that there wasn't value the first time, I'm probably going to delete your next email. And then you're going to fall into my 5 or 6 emails that I delete every single morning before I even check emails, right? Because you really only have that one chance to deliver value. So you want to be able to systematically segment your database so that you can communicate value to different people all the time. So for instance, shared interests, okay? Maybe, it's March Madness, right? Basketball is a shared interest that I have with a lot of people in my database. So if I was a real estate agent, I would definitely make sure that I would have everyone in my database that's also a sports enthusiast tagged that way. And one of my biggest events that I would host every year as a real estate agent is I would do a March Madness party at a local bar or restaurant, probably somebody that I know from the industry, supporting their business as well. I invite all my friends and family and people in my database that are also share that special interest and invite them to that event. It's an opportunity for me to network with everyone in my database. It's a shared interest. It's not feeling as, real estate. It's very casual. But from that event, I guarantee you, we will be having conversations about real estate, a lot of conversations about real estate. And I guarantee from that event, I would get at minimum 2 or 3 leads. Maybe I make sure that I invite to that event my partners. Maybe I make sure that my lender's there because maybe a conversation around a loan might come up or questions about refinancing might come up. Oh, I've got my favorite lender at this event. Maybe I've got 2 of them at this event, right? But I'm not going to invite people in my database who don't share that interest. Only people in my database who are tagged sports enthusiasts would I invite to that event. And then probably I blanket it out on my social media, but a direct invite would go to those people. Okay. What are some other ideas around tagging people in your database? Right? Shared interests, coworkers. What's some other ideas on how we could tag somebody in my database so that I could deliver value to a shared interest? Yeah. Well, but you're exactly. I mean, mom groups, right? You could have, people in your database where your kids are in school with them, and you could have a mom group. Maybe in the summertime, you do a back to school event where you maybe turn it into a fundraiser to help school supplies for your school. And you can invite everyone that you know from your community that have kids that would have an interest. I'm not going to invite people in my database that don't have kids to a back to school event. That's not valuable to them, right? So that's a great example. I mean, you can do like you could make, if you're trying to farm your community, everyone in your database that lives in your neighborhood, maybe you live in a neighborhood that has a clubhouse, or maybe you live in a neighborhood that has um, community events, making sure everyone in your database is tagged for that community event. So because I live in Deer Park, so one of the community events that we have is every August, they do Days in Deer Park. It's a huge event. On Saturday, they do fireworks. It goes all weekend. I mean, there's thousands of people that show up to this event, and most of the people walk. It's all within Deer Park. So again, if I was in real estate, I would make sure that I'm communicating out to everyone in my database that lives in my neighborhood about the days in Deer Park. Or maybe I live in Deer Park and I have people in my database that might be interested in buying a home in Deer Park. Come experience an event that's in Deer Park this weekend. Get to know neighbors, get to see so again, you can take that in. It sounds like a broken record, but it's so important while you're in your database to tag people so that you can systematically communicate to them at a high level every single time. Start thinking about these community events and farming certain areas and making sure that, you could set up a newsletter that you email out to everybody. And in that newsletter, you're showcasing maybe some of the local small businesses. Support your local small businesses because they're going to turn around and support you. Right? Those are just some ideas, okay? So you got to think how I can communicate to them systematically. Yep. Mm-hmm. Is it a certain industry that they're in, or they're just business professionals? Mm-mm-mm. That's perfect. Tag them all as nonprofit. Because you could partner possibly with a nonprofit in your real estate business, and maybe you do an event. I mean, people who are enthusiastic about nonprofits generally are enthusiastic about multiple nonprofits. It's not just one and done, like I love, SAAP and dogs, yeah, but I don't like any other nonprofits. No, that doesn't happen. Usually people who are passionate about nonprofits are passionate about all nonprofits. And so look at your business. I mean, I highly encourage any small business to tie in a nonprofit of some sort. And so back to like the school, fundraising for school supplies, or it could be a school supplies drop off, or you could get sponsors and you could, connect with your local school on what their school supplies are, and you could create bags already filled and people could come and pick up. And then you can give an opportunity for people in your database that love nonprofits. They could maybe donate to that. You could tie it in somehow, but that would be.
So like my business says, hosting a fundraiser.
Yeah, absolutely. All day, every day. Yeah. Well, yeah, and any expenses could be a business write-off. It is 100% relationship building, and a passion of giving through your business is 100% encouraged. So, tying in nonprofits and being able to give back to your community, because when you're giving back to your community and giving back in something that you're passionate about, your people are brand recognition of your real estate business, and they want people want to get into business with other individuals who are passionate about nonprofits as well in their community, right? So from my perspective, I'm going to, because I live in Deer Park, if there's nonprofits coming into Deer Park and doing stuff for the community, I'm going to be supporting that business. And it might be tied into, like, you get companies that will help elderly in the neighborhood by cleaning up their home. It's usually tied in with a landscaping company. Well, I'm going to look at that and possibly send business to that landscaping company because I saw them out servicing my neighbor who can't take care of their yard and they did it for free. I mean, it's just an example of how a nonprofit charity work and everything can tie in, and people want to support businesses that are giving back to the community. So this is going to get more into segmenting your database, knowing people in your database who are are military veterans. That's huge. Identifying people, veterans, connecting them to your lender that may have programs with VA loans. Definitely, that's huge. Understanding in your database who are investors. Understanding, like if you have someone in your database that is a golf enthusiast, maybe you're in a team meeting and you hear somebody that has a potential listing that's on a golf course, like just knowing that they may want to move, like that's just a general example, but you get how important it is to segment your database. And here's some other ideas. Make sure you identify someone who is a prior client. Identify people in your database who are VIP, right? That's special. Your VIPs in your database are important to you because possibly to get into that VIP, they're sending you referrals. So if you have someone in your database that sent you multiple referrals, you better be in contact with them at a high level. How can you help them? They may be someone that also owns a small business. How can you support them in their business as well? Okay. All right. So communicate with your segments. So the messaging to segments should be relevant to likes, dislikes, interests, or based on past interactions with you. Even though the words and topics of your messaging will change, there are some things that will remain consistent no matter what segment you're communicating with. Your messaging matches the motivation of the segment, uncovers if they're able, ready, and willing, and the time frame they are looking to do business in includes a call to action, elicits an immediate response, tells the people receiving the message how to contact you, helps the client know why they would choose to contact you in the current market, and what they get if they do. Okay, so this gives the
Sentence. Does that mean each newsletter focuses on golf?
Well, this is an example of sending out a newsletter. So say a big piece of your sphere are golf enthusiasts. They share golf interests, right? Maybe part of your marketing plan is to hit that segment, is what this is an example of. And so what they're suggesting is that you create a newsletter that is specific to that market in your database, right? So you have to look at your database and see, what that's going to be for you. And again, in my database, it would be, just because I've grown up playing sports, I have a lot of people in my database that would be sports enthusiasts. So I would have a newsletter specific to, especially if the weather's clearing up or getting warmer, outside opportunities, new pickleball places opening up, or make sure you're signing up for, if you play volleyball, sand volleyball is coming, so you can kind of customize that newsletter around one, supporting businesses that might support those sports enthusiasts, but also tying in there, maybe you have a listing that's close to, well, in this example, a golf course. You can tie that in there. So it's sending out value to a segment in your database.
So.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. Yep. Mhm. Mhm. So you're developing a newsletter that is specific to a segment in your database, correct? To that neighborhood though, but you could consider that as a segment in your database. Because would you send that newsletter out to a friend or family member or someone in your database that lives out of state?
You know what? I think there are several people area.
Yeah. But your newsletter is specific to a segment. Yes or no? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So you want to make sure that when you send that newsletter out, that it is valuable to every person that you're sending it to. And it may not be valuable to everyone in your database. So you have to think about when you send this out, that everyone is receiving it, it's valuable to them. If it's not valuable to them, then you may want to consider not sending it out to everyone in your database. Because what happens is, say you say you're a Dayton agent. I'm just going to throw out a city. Say you're in Dayton and you're sending out all this update stuff about Dayton, and you send it to me. That doesn't do anything for me. I don't live in Dayton. I don't know anyone who lives in Dayton. I don't go to Dayton. You know what I'm saying? So when I receive that correspondence from you, I'm going to delete your email. I'm just being harsh. And just to let you know, probably the next time you send me an email that's about Dayton, I'm probably going to delete it. And then you may send me something that's a value to me, but you're already in my mind somebody that doesn't send value every single time. And I'm not going to get your message that actually is valuable to me. But you're identifying a certain neighborhood, correct? Which is the neighborhood that you're Mount Healthy. So if you send me a newsletter, again, I'm being harsh. I understand that, right? So when you're in your database and you're sending out this beautiful newsletter all around Mount Healthy, you have to make sure that you're sending it to people in your database that would care about what's going on in Mount Healthy. Because if you don't, you're not delivering value. You're going to send it to people in your database that have no interest in Mount Healthy, and you've kind of lost that touch because you have to communicate value every single time to your database. Otherwise, your emails start to fall in that, well, I'm not going to open it. Mary didn't, I don't really care. Is this another newsletter about Mount Healthy?
Something like about you or like this TCPA thing that says if you're not interested, don't want to.
Well, so here's the thing. So your emails sent out through command will automatically have that unsubscribe. Okay. Well, but that's not always good. They can't just unsubscribe from a segment in your database. If they unsubscribe, they will unsubscribe from everything. So that's why that when you send out your emails, if you're developing this newsletter that's specific to a neighborhood, that you're setting it up based on a segment in your database, and that's only going to go to that segment in your database. So that's why it's important that you're tagging people in your database and their interests, and you should be able to go through and identify everyone in your database that would find that newsletter relevant. And then when you send that out, that you're sending it out specific to those people in your database. You really only have a couple of chances to communicate value to where they're going to look at you as a realtor of choice. And if you're sending out information to other people in your database that would not care about anything that's going on in Mount Healthy, you are losing that piece of your database. You have to deliver value every single time. That is the beauty about emails, is it's really easy to send out emails, but the harshness of it is, I mean, you do it. How often do you open up your email and you immediately delete 5 or 6 of the emails before you even check any of them? I'm up to like probably 20.
I get phone calls for different things and they call. Get really opt out of it. You know,
But just, yeah, you guys put yourself in the consumer shoes, right? They're not going to want, if you call, someone in your database that lives in, the east side, and they don't really, maybe they live in, we'll just say, just someone in Kenwood. So you have someone in your database, you call them back. Oh, did you get my newsletter about Mount Healthy?
but the neighborhood that I'm in is, you know,
Yeah.
so
So what I'm harping on is just making sure that
it's no healthy.
that who you're sending that newsletter to. Now you can blanket put it on social media, and that's more marketing, right? But if you're actually like prospecting and you're in your database and you're sending out value in that newsletter, you want to make sure that every single person that you're sending it to, it's relevant to them. If it's not relevant to them, don't send it. Because the next email that you send may be relevant to them, but that first email they saw, they may unsubscribe to you, they may delete, you may start going into their spam. So you have to make sure that this is what this is all talking about, is segmenting your database and making sure that you're delivering value to those specific segments. It's the same thing when you look at a renter versus a homeowner. If you blasted everyone in your database about your first time home buyer seminar, and that's going to people that own their home, they're going to be like, well, what am I? Well, I already own my house. I don't need to come to a first time home buyer seminar. Like I got an email a couple days ago about inviting me to a first time home buyer seminar. I've owned my house for 14 years. I don't need to go to a first time home buyer seminar. What I need to go to is a listing seminar, because I want to list my house in the next couple of years. And there's probably some tips and tricks that I need to know, right? So you have to make sure you're delivering value every single time, because you will lose people in your contacts if you don't. All right, keep going. All right, communicate with value. All right, so with your leads, this is saying that it takes 19 to connect. So leads in your database, people that you don't necessarily have permission to have a two-way conversation with. These are just leads that came in through social media. Maybe it's a referral from somebody in your database. These are just leads. You want to get them on a 4 touches quarterly. You want to call them. You want to make sure that they're getting 1 email a month, a newsletter, maybe it's a market report. Okay, 2 touches, direct mail. You can send them a magnet, Red's calendar, things like that. Huh? This graphic or? It's not, I would take a picture of it. It's the slides with Ignite. It should be actually in the Ignite binder. And then White Touch Annual, okay? Here's the thing, there are 19 of these, and one of them is gonna land with that person, and that's gonna cement them from being a lead and turning them into an actual contact, okay? So there's gonna be a high value touch that solidifies the relationship that you have just established and opens the door for future interactions, right? So you call them 4 times, you have a conversation, or they get an email and they click on something in the email and they respond to you. And then all of a sudden that opens them up. There's something of value that they see and they're like, oh, I'm grabbing onto it. And now all of a sudden you're converting them from a lead into a contact. All right. So when we have contacts in our database, people that we have permission to have a two-way conversation with, we need to connect with them 36 times a year to convert. All right. So back to of the 36 to convert. We've got 4 phone calls, 4 quarterly calls a year. All right. 26 touches. We're sending out bi-weekly emails. Delivering value. 2 touches, events. You want to have events throughout the year. And then doing 4 promotional direct mail, magnets, calendars. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to look at your database and you have to think about your 36 touches a year to your database. One of these touches they don't have on here could be a birthday touch. That's 1 touch. Okay. Quarterly touches for one a quarter. Okay. So that's 5 touches. Send out maybe a monthly newsletter that isn't necessarily specific to a neighborhood. That could be just general to real estate. That could be a blanket email out to everybody. Okay. So that could be 12 a year. So now we're up to 17 touches. Maybe you have that person on a bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. That's twice a month. So that's 24. Okay. So you have to think about the strategies. And the thing is, in Command, there are smart plans labeled 36 touch that will give you ideas on how to communicate. Okay.
Lexi's 48 touch.
Huh?
Lexi, didn't you put out a 48 touch?
Yeah, she's got a couple of them. Yeah, that she put out. Absolutely. Yeah, she's a 48. Yeah. Yeah, 48 a year. No. So just so you know, Ignite session number 11 is going to be all about 19 to connect. Okay, so session 11 is going to talk about this left-hand side. Okay, and then session 12 is going to talk about the right-hand side. All right. So today is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Friday, so Monday and Tuesday of next week is going to be session 11 and 12. So Monday is going to talk about the 19 to connect as far as leads. And then Tuesday is going to talk about this 36 to convert. Okay.
So that's on Monday.
Next Monday and Tuesday.
Says-
Yep. All right. So some items of value when you're emailing, and just to let you know, I do have a hard stop at 11. And I told you I'd go on a tangent. We wouldn't get done in time. But some items of value might be market statistics, seasonal prep checklist for homeowners, real estate forecasting data, schedule of local events and festivals. You know, talk to your local chamber of commerce. Look at some of the events that they're hosting. Preferred vendor lists, you know, creating those strategic alliances will help you in your business. You should always have at least 1 or 2 lenders. Connect with a warranty company, connect with an inspector, connect with a landscaping company. Yeah.
at this point, the local bakery,
Mhm.
you know, everybody goes to the same.
You could do an event, you know, donuts and interest rates. I don't, you know, and you can connect with your lender. You can provide, you know, donuts from that company, and you can, or from the bakery, you could have information about them. Maybe you host, I don't know if they have a large storefront, you can host an event there where you make sure that everyone in your database comes support that small business. And you talk about real estate there, and you talk about donuts, and what you're doing is supporting a small business in your community that you are trying to derive business from. I mean, they're gonna love it. They're gonna turn around and support you as a real estate agent. One at Lance,
Yeah.
What is it, Easter? Just small bakery. Yeah, big, oh, if people line up outside to buy this, buy these. There's a couple of better places. I just, yeah, that's.
all right, I'm gonna kind of go through this a little bit quickly. Create your database. So a database itself is a tool where all of your contacts are, okay? Some people's database is just on their phone. Their database is in their phone. It makes it hard. It's not necessarily a systematic way to communicate. So it's important that we're putting all of our contacts from all of our different areas into one database so that you can create a data bank. All right. Your job is to build a community and serve the community. So you got to look at your database as your community. Your contacts are your community, not just your leads. Your contacts are your community. Service all your leads. Servicing your leads is a big part of building your community. Why do you think it's important to provide service to all leads? A lead not followed up on becomes someone else's lead and source of business and income. Provide value in general and through your real estate knowledge by volunteering information and following through on what you say you'll do. It is important to service all leads so you can know the source. Knowing how the lead was generated will be important for calculating your return on investment for your prospecting and marketing methods. Track the relationship. You will use your database to track conversations, interactions related to transaction and relationships that helps to ensure that your customers are serviced and converted to clients. Reward referrals. You will follow up and reward the client who referred you the new lead. Remember to reward the act of giving you the lead. Don't wait for closing, okay? If you are in your conversations with your database, your contacts, and someone gives you a lead, like, oh, my friend or my coworker is interested in buying or selling. What's going to happen if you do not call that lead that was just given to you by someone in your database? Exactly. Also, that person who gave you that lead after you asked them and you don't call them, is that person going to give you another lead? No, right? The other thing is that, you know, you may generate a bunch of leads through Facebook, right? So say you do a Facebook ad on a listing, you generate 10 or 12 leads. I can tell you this, not all 12 of those leads are going to be valid leads. Okay. But you have to call every single one of them like they're potentially going to be buying or selling, because you never know. They may have a goofy email address. You're like, "Oh, there's no way that is a real email address." Well, actually, yeah. So you have to make sure that you have a system in place when you generate leads, when someone gives you a referral, or you generate a lead from social media, or you get it from email, you get it from any, that you are calling every single person. So you have to make sure that you have a system in place so that you speed to lead, you call every single one of them. Yep. So you've got, like, if you generate leads through social media, you can immediately put them on a smart plan. So if they say do an ad in Facebook, and this is Peyton's jam, but you do an ad on Facebook, they click that they want more information, they have to fill out information. When you set up that campaign, you can set them up on a smart plan to where they get communication from you immediately. So they could set up where they sign up, and then it could trigger that an email is sent to them introducing you as a real estate agent. Maybe it's just your bio and a little bit of information. But then you have to make sure that you're doing, I mean, the best way to touch with somebody is calling, picking up the phone, calling. But yes, there are systems in place so they can immediately start sending them information. And that smart plan could be multi-step. It could be, it sends an introductory email. It could then send a text follow-up like, oh, thank you for your inquiry. Did you receive my email, or did you receive the information that you requested? Or, there's a couple of different things. There are smart plans that are already built in Command, and they could give you ideas on how to do that. And again, I would set up a time with Peyton, and she can help you really identify that. Yep. So it's already talking about opportunities, campaigns, Command. Again, more of the training and Command on KW Connect. If you type in anything like command your transactions, command your database, it will give you different trainings. KW cares. All right. So, all right. 4 laws of database that we talked about today. We're just going to do a quick recap. So we talked about building our database. So we got our contacts, we put them in Command, we're building our database. We're going to feed it every day. So that means every time that we're asking our database for referrals, we're getting leads, we're putting those new leads into our database. We're communicating to it systematically at a high level. And then anytime that we get leads, that we're servicing all those leads. All right. So now you have the tools and systems to create your database, business database. You understand the value of your database and will commit to maximizing how you use it. Can continue to build and feed your database and begin to communicate with and service the people in your database. An important step to take now that you have the understandings and the tools, if you haven't already, is to build and feed your database, business database. So we are going to clean it up, right? We're going to get in there. We're going to get as much information as possible. All right. Trust your database. Don't get discouraged if your database is not immediately yielding the results you expect. So don't quit too soon. Sometimes it can take 2 to 3 years to see a significant return. Eventually, your database will start to reward you. It can take over a year of contacting people using a 36 touch campaign to see consistent results. It's not immediate. Think in a mindset of long term. National Association of Realtors tells us that currently people are moving about every 7 to 10 years. Come from care. The real estate business is also the relationship business. People do business with people they know, like, and trust, and it can take time to establish all three, especially with a new lead. All right. Any ahas? Just the amount of touches that really you need.
Yeah, and it's probably really hard. For me, I'm looking at like 36, like that was
Well, you have to develop your 36 touch plan. And knowing that there are systems in place within command that will, some of those are going to take a actual phone call. Like you're going to have to pick up the phone, you're going to have to call everyone in your database quarterly, right? But there are systems in place that will automatically send out emails. You can do smart plans and you can set up the different campaigns and you can communicate. You can host events where you invite everyone in your database too. So those potential touches. So it does, and it takes time. But the thing is it takes time to build a business. But once you communicate systematically over time, consistently, you're going to start to generate leads and generate actual contacts, people who are interested, like ready to buy and sell. Okay. And if you're doing that consistently, then you're going to generate consistent business. Because what happens though is that sometimes agents will get really busy because the activities that they're doing is generating business and then they stop. They're too busy focusing on servicing the people that are active buyers or sellers. Then they close those transactions and they look up and they don't have anything in their pipeline because they stopped doing these activities. So you have to be consistent. And that gets into time blocking, right? So time blocking is you got to lead generate for how many hours a day? To start. If you're not generating at all right now, if you're saying I need to generate, Jenna, about 5 minutes. Is he here, Paul? Okay. If you're only doing half-hour lead generation a day, if I were to come here and say you need to do 4 hours, that's discouraging.
I go by the numbers, and I think during one of the classes, how they break it down.
Mhm.
If you want to make this much
Sure.
revenue, then you're gonna need to do this much, and that tells you how many people you need to call.
Well, okay, yes. So you definitely want to have a goal of how many calls, conversations that you want to have a day. Okay. 4 hours of lead generation. Peter's team's not doing 4 hours of lead generation. They're probably doing, there's lead up to before they're making the dials. So they're creating the list of people that they're going to call. And then there's probably 2 hours of actual lead generation, but then there's probably 2 hours of lead follow-up. So you have to look at your calendar. My calendar would not match your calendar, and it's not going to match your calendar. So you have to look and see when you're going to consistently pick up the phone and make those calls and put it into your calendar and do it every single day at minimum. Is picking up the phone and making those phone calls. Minimum. Once you complete those tasks every single day, you're going to start to see more activities come up organically through that. You're going to have to follow up with this person. You're going to need to connect them with a lender. They need to get pre-approved. Next thing you know, you got someone who's actively looking to buy. So now I need to fit into my calendar when I'm going to show properties. When am I going to do an open house? None of that is possible if you're not doing lead generation every single day consistently. And it could be Monday through Friday. You don't have to necessarily do lead generation on the weekend. Or maybe your lead generation is Thursday through Sunday. But you want to make sure that you're consistently doing it throughout the week. Oh, that Friday class. Yeah, I'll find it on YouTube and I'll send it to you. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me in my class.